Hello, welcome to our frequently asked questions. Today I'm answering a common concern among many of my patients. How can I ensure that I look natural after having lower blepharoplasty? And this is a common concern amongst many of my patients, and we will talk about what does it mean to have a natural looking result after blepharoplasty. What does it mean to have a unnatural looking result? And unnatural may mean a scar, it may be that you don't look like your original self. Then we'll also talk about what measures you can take in order to ensure that you have the best possible result and a natural looking result from lower eyelid surgery. My name is Dr. Julian De Silva, and I'm a London-based facial, cosmetic and plastic surgeon, and blepharoplasty is the commonest surgery that I complete for my patients on a daily basis. And the information that I'm discussing with you today is information that I discuss with all my patients before undergoing blepharoplasty. So, what does it mean to have a natural looking result from lower blepharoplasty? Well, a natural looking result really means you look like yourself, and it may be that you had bags or loose skin around the lower eyelids and you had a more tired appearance. Well, after lower blepharoplasty, that appearance is improved and you look younger and fresher and less tired. And a natural looking result really means you still look like yourself, and there's no change in regards of you looking like yourself, but you just look fresher and younger and more healthier. And so a natural looking result is one where you still look like yourself, as opposed to a unnatural looking result where you can feel like you look like someone else. And we've all seen celebrities who've had quite marked or drastic changes in their appearance, and those drastic changes are quite commonly related to having blepharoplasty and eyelid surgery that's not necessarily been in their best interest. And eyelids are something that we look at when we look at people communicating and talking in everyday social and professional language, and so any changes in your eyelids can be quite noticeable. And with lower blepharoplasty, an unnatural appearance can be appearance that has a scar or a change in the natural relationship of the eyelids, which has resulted in more asymmetry or more eyelid or more eye show, where more white of the eye is more visible. And so these changes, well, these are partly derived from surgical technique, but these changes are usually avoidable with surgery. So we've talked about natural and we've talked about what it means to be unnatural. How can you take measures to ensure that you have the best possible result from your lower blepharoplasty and you have a natural looking result? Well, with regards to lower blepharoplasty, the technique that is used for the surgery is very important, and the older way of doing the surgery was a scar in the lower eyelid, and this scar could be visible after surgery as a scar, and it also had a tendency that it could change the natural shape of the eyelid. My preference is to use a more modern and a hidden scar technique which hides the scar on the inside of the eyelid, and this avoids a scar, a visible scar after surgery, but it also avoids changing the natural shape of the eyelid. And the lower eyelid is very delicate or intricate in terms of its anatomy, and changes in this shape are very difficult to revise even with revision surgery. So in terms of lower eyelid surgery, technique is definitely very important, and I'd encourage you to do adequate research to ensure that you feel comfortable with the way in which the lower eyelid surgery is going to be performed, and that you can have a result that matches your levels of expectations. And I spend time with all of my patients discussing what are their personal expectations from the surgery, what would they like to achieve, and this is of key importance in terms of a successful outcome after lower blepharoplasty. The other factor that can be quite relevant to lower eyelids is that everyone's eyelids are quite different, and some patients will require additional techniques in order to give you the best possible result, and these techniques could include resurfacing of the skin or tightening of the skin. It can include using adding volume to the lower eyelid such as fat transfer, and using fat transfer with platelet-rich plasma can enhance the appearance of the lower eyelid in some patients by smoothing out where there's been some natural fat loss over a period of time. And so key with any lower blepharoplasty is assessing your individual changes and how they have occurred over time. And many patients I asked if they can bring some old photographs that showed their appearance when they were younger in order to see how that change has occurred over a period of time, and to ensure that the results from the surgery are going to match that in terms of your expectations after surgery. So we've talked about what it means to have natural looking result from lower blepharoplasty. We've talked about what an unnatural result can be. And finally, we've talked about measures that you can take to ensure that you have the best possible result from lower blepharoplasty. I hope this information has been useful for you. Thank you for watching.